Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, friends. Welcome back to Football Gupshup Transfer News. Please do welcome back to Football Gupshup. We're going to do this transfer news today. This is 2nd of August and we have got lots of update on lots of players, guys. So just before we begin this episode, please do subscribe to the channel, give a like as well as do let me know in comments what do you think about these latest transfer news being done by Football Gupshup. If you want to add anything in these special episodes, please do let us know by your opinion. And guys, please do subscribe. Now let's begin today's stories. Plenty of stories today, and as you can see on your screen, we got the list over here. We're going to talk about these players, we're going to talk about these stories, and we're going to find out if these deals are going to happen, how close are they, and do we think that these are good deals for the clubs in terms of those who are selling as well as those who are purchasing. So let's begin today first with Bayer. Maximilian Bayer is a player who is being linked with so many clubs, and I remember the first time that I heard about him was when he was linked to Liverpool as well as to Manchester United. He's a pretty good player. It seems that he is being once again in the transfer stories because due to the fact that in his contract there is a release clause for 30 million euros. Now it all depends who is going to pay for that much money. In terms of looking the way he tends to play, he's a very good player. He is a very good pressing forward. He can play in the advanced position as well. He is pretty good technically. If you look at the way he plays in his position, he tends to have a go at the defense, and sometimes you do tend to think that he's lightweight. He's not that heavy built, as well as can he take on the likes of those defenders who are pretty strong. And when he was linked to Liverpool, I did tend to think that maybe Premier League will be a little bit tough for him. But when he was linked to Manchester United, then maybe there is a fact that the scouting department of both clubs, they are looking at him and thinking that, you know what, he has got that special ability. Remember Bayern Munich, they were also looking at him. But I think for 30 million euros, Bayern Munich priorities are somewhere else. So that is why they weren't that heavily linked. But now we might see that Bayer getting an interest from the domestic clubs as well as the clubs from the Europe. Now the latest clubs which have been linked are Juventus and Aston Villa. Now we do know that Aston Villa are currently looking to get a new striker, and for some reason they have got a striker of their own which is being linked to another club, which is Duran, which we did in the last episode. He is being linked to West Ham United. Now if Duran does leave to West Ham, and Aston Villa will be looking in to bring in a striker. Now for some reason, as we know that João Felix has been linked to Aston Villa as well. Now the fact comes, where will Aston Villa go? Will they go for the likes of João Felix or will they go for Bayer? But now we're getting to hear some news that Juventus are interested in him, and if Juventus are in for the likes of Bayer, then that definitely means the Bundesliga clubs will have a look at him as well. Maybe Dortmund, maybe Bayern Munich, maybe Leverkusen as well. So for that fact, I think that Bayer will definitely get a move. He will be moving from Hoffenheim for sure. That is going to happen the way it looks like. Now which club will take him? That is the question. For some reason there was also a link saying that Chelsea are interested in him. Now that link came because due to the fact that maybe because Osimhen is being linked to Chelsea, which we're going to cover a little bit later in this episode. Now if Chelsea aren't able to get a deal done with Napoli, then they might have a look at other options, and Maximilian Bayer might be one of those options. But right now in this very moment, the two clubs which are heavily linked are Juventus and Aston Villa. The price is around 30 million euros, which comes around 25.5 million pounds. So let's see if Maximilian Bayer will get a move to either Juventus or Aston Villa. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward and look at the next deal, which is Yan Couto. Yan Couto apparently has completed a deal. He is joining Borussia Dortmund. What a coup that is for Borussia Dortmund. Remember, they had Maatsen in that position last season. He was a very good player. Now he has joined Aston Villa on a permanent deal. Now Borussia Dortmund have gone into the transfer market and they have bought Yan Couto for a very good price of 21.3 million pounds. I think that's a very good ideal price in today's market. It's a very good piece of business, and Borussia Dortmund are going to get a very good special player. Now, we're talking about Borussia Dortmund. We do know that Borussia Dortmund have been working excessively in the transfer market. They have one of their own of their player, which is called Fulkrug, and he's been linked to West Ham United. Now it looks like that Fulkrug will get a move because he's 31 years of age. I thought maybe he was a little bit young, but for some reason he's been linked to West Ham United. West Ham United are looking for a striker, and for the piece, I think for the price of 30 million euros is a little bit too much. Sorry, guys. And I think in terms of West Ham United, if they get Fulkrug for 25.6 million pounds, it'll be a very, I think it'll be a little bit expensive, and that is why West Ham United are not agreeing on that amount. They are looking around 20 million pounds, which comes around 25 million euros. But Borussia Dortmund, they are looking around 30 million euros, which is 25.6 million. I think both of the clubs will have to somehow agree on the fee. They will have to make a compromise and settle in between. So let's see what will happen with that deal. I would love to see Fulkrug in Premier League. He will be a very good addition to West Ham side. He is a very good player. He showed that in previous season. Even in the Euros, he's a special player, and I'm sure that West Ham United fans are going to enjoy him. So talking about West Ham United, they've got another deal done. They have went out and bought Somerville from Leeds United. What an addition he is going to be for West Ham United this coming season. He is really a lovely player. I do not know if you guys do watch or follow Leeds United. I think that if Leeds United have around 4 or 5 good players, and Somerville is one of them, I really like him. I really rate him as well. And if he plays for West Ham United alongside Kudus, I mean, he's going to be really a special player. I mean, imagine if Kudus on one side of the wing, as well as Gerard Bowen and Somerville behind Fulkrug. West Ham United are going to be a force, and I'm sure that West Ham United fans can't wait to see him in a West Ham United shirt, and they would really love this addition. Now, moving on from West Ham United towards Manchester United, who have put in a double bid for 2 of the Bayern Munich players. It seems that Manchester United have issues in regarding to injuries. Once again, in the preseason, we saw Lenny Yoro, the new addition from Lille. I mean, it's very, very surprising that, the player hasn't even played the normal season, the regular season, and he's injured already in preseason, and he's going to be out for 3 months. And for some reason, Manchester United were linked with De Ligt. It was a case of if Lenny Yoro won't be done, then De Ligt was for sure. But now what happened was Lenny Yoro was bought already, and now the case was, will United go in for De Ligt? And it seems that they have gone in now, especially after that injury. For some reason, it looks like that Manchester United are still wanting the likes of Maguire and Lindelof to leave the club so that they can have a go at De Ligt, as well as I won't be surprised if they go in late in the market or maybe late in the transfer window to go and bid for Branthwaite, but that case is yet to be seen. If United are able to sell the likes of Maguire and Lindelof, then I won't be surprised that if United go and get De Ligt as well as Branthwaite, because this was the plan beforehand. Now, will it come to fruition? Will it come to happen in the next weeks? We cannot say for sure, but now, because of Lenny Yoro injury, it seems that United are working to get De Ligt as well as Mazraoui, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is in talks with West Ham United. He has agreed the personal terms. Now, if the fee is agreed between Manchester United and West Ham United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will leave and United will definitely go and get Mazraoui. Now, if these 2 deals are in together, I don't think so. I think what happens is if Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaves, then they go and get Mazraoui. No problem. They will replace a right back with a right back. As for De Ligt, there is a case of this fee that they are still not coming upon. Bayern Munich basically want 50 million euros. That is including add-ons and fixed fee. Now, Manchester United think the otherwise. They think that they should not be paying more than 40 million euros, which comes around 32 million pounds, whereas Bayern Munich are asking for 42 million pounds, which is 50 million euros. Now, there is a big gap between the valuation of these two clubs. Will there be a compromise? I think Bayern Munich think that De Ligt is 24 years of age and they believe that he is not that old. They think that he has a value. They think that even though he is not being selected in the Bayern Munich side, even they would have discussion with Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany would have said perhaps he would prefer somebody else. And for that reason, Bayern Munich wouldn't want to let him go on a cheap. And Manchester United feel that they have this opportunity where they cannot get a player for that kind of amount. They want to save a little bit more because remember, United want to look at other positions as well, such as midfield, such as Ugarte, but nobody has come in for Casemiro, so they're waiting for McTominay deal to take place with Fulham. Once that is done, then they will move on with the other targets. But in regards to De Ligt, they don't want to overpay, so I believe that the deal will take place. Now Bayern Munich, if they're asking for 42 million pounds, I might see that Bayern Munich might agree around 39, maybe 40 million pounds, and Manchester United will have to come around that fee. Because if United are thinking that they would want to get De Ligt for 35 million, I think that will be a steal, and I don't think so Bayern Munich are going to let that happen. So United need to see into that because Lenny Yoro is injured now, and the season is about to start, it's about to begin, and I'm sure that Erik ten Hag would have had a word and would have said, you know what, I need a proper defender, and in order to have that, he would have said that, you know what, I need someone like De Ligt who has got the experience. So you never know in these cases, but let's see if that will happen or not. I believe that this deal will take place for sure. De Ligt and Mazraoui will happen. I believe that United wouldn't want to spend more than 50 million on these two players, and I think United might have to pay a little bit more than that in the end. So that is what we have with Mazraoui and De Ligt. Now we will move on to two big stories. It is to do with Chelsea. One is the outgoing, one is the incoming. The outgoing is Gallagher. I mean, what a player he has been for Chelsea and Crystal Palace. I saw him in Crystal Palace. He was really lovely player. He has been really good for Chelsea as well. Now, a case where he is kind of looking to move to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid have apparently put a bid in. Chelsea have accepted that bid. They want him to move because he was offered a renewal contract for 3 years, and for some reason that offer is still on the table, but Gallagher hasn't accepted that deal. So Atletico Madrid, they have put a bid in which has been accepted, and now Atletico Madrid, in the recent development, they have said that if by the end of this week Gallagher doesn't agree the contract from Atletico Madrid, they will move on. They are not going to wait for him. They have given him an ultimatum. If he wants to join Atletico Madrid, he needs to make that decision now. If he doesn't, then Atletico Madrid will move on and Gallagher will have no choice in terms of moving to Atletico Madrid. Now, what is Gallagher thinking? We do not know. It is a case of what he thinks. Would he love to play for Atletico Madrid? I'm sure that he would have had a word with Kieran Trippier, who had a very good transfer when he moved to Atletico Madrid. I think he did win the league, La Liga over there, and he really enjoyed playing under Simeone. I'm sure that Gallagher would be having a word with him, asking him how is Atletico Madrid. Of course, it's not Real Madrid. If it would have been Real Madrid, he would have straight away called to Bellingham and would have asked him, man, what do you think? I think he would have moved there without saying anything. He would have known that, you know what, Real Madrid are going to be having Mbappe, they've got Vinicius Jr., they got Rodrigo, they got Bellingham, they got Modric, they got Tchouaméni, they got Camavinga. I mean, they got so many stars and they are going to keep on winning those Champions Leagues. So it would have made any sense for him to stall if it would have been Real Madrid. But Atletico Madrid, I'm sure that it has to do with his family as well, because English players do not like to move to other European countries that easily. It has to do with the language, it has to do with the culture, it also has to do with the family as well, because remember, the player is not going to move by himself, they're going to move alongside with the family, and that might be the issue with Gallagher. So Gallagher will be discussing this with his family and thinking about it, and I'm sure that Kieran Trippier would have put in a good repo with regards to Diego Simeone, and it is something that Gallagher would consider. he would want to play in another league, and that chance doesn't come that much for English players, so he would want to consider that. Hopefully by the end of this week we will find out if he gets his move to Atletico Madrid. Now moving on to the big man Osimhen. It looks like Chelsea did inquire like 3 or 4 days ago about Osimhen from Napoli. For some reason, it looks like Napoli, remember, they put in a release clause or something sort of 120 million euros, which is a little bit too much for the likes of any English Premier League club. I mean, if you have to ask a question, remember, Premier League clubs, they do tend to spend around 100 million pounds. Jack Grealish with Manchester City, Declan Rice with Arsenal. So it's not a case of that can Chelsea spend 100 million on a player. I think it has to do more with FFP. Now, if Chelsea do go and buy Osimhen, they would want to make this deal happen in a way where they don't get in trouble with the FFP. So they might speak to Napoli and say, you know what, how about if we work on that figure? How about if we break down that figure and we pay you over the years? How about if we offer Osimhen a 7-year contract or a 6-year contract and break down that amount in those years? And would you be willing to take those amount in installments, or maybe perhaps you would want a player in exchange? That is why Lukaku was mentioned few days ago in the media, that he might be that piece where Antonio Conte really rates him, and Antonio Conte would want Lukaku in an exchange deal. So maybe the delay, or maybe there are talks going on behind the scenes where we might see Lukaku heading towards Napoli and playing for Antonio Conte, and Osimhen coming to London and joining Chelsea. Now, I think the figure 120 million euros is a little bit too much. Napoli might have to make a compromise, maybe around 100 million euros or maybe around 95 million euros, which will come around 80 million pounds, and Chelsea will have no problem to spend 80 million pounds in terms of getting a world-class striker and a prolific striker as well, who tends to score a lot of goals. So I would expect Osimhen to join Chelsea, but it's a case of on both of the clubs agreeing on the deal. So let's see if it will happen. Now, that is all we have got today in terms of transfer news. Hopefully you would have loved today's episode, guys, and I'm sure that you guys will be tuning in for more transfer stories. Please, guys, do remember, if you can please help us out by subscribing, drop a like as well. Let us know in the chat section or in the comment section of any opinion that you have. What do you think of these stories? Do you think that these deals will happen, or do you think that these deals will not happen, or do you think that your club should go for another type of player? Please do let us know in the comment section, and please do drop a like as well. Hopefully I'll see you soon.